I'm excited that you were so involved
too.
in like getting a drink ready and everything.
I do. I have a drink. If it was Friday, there would be about 4 drinks with alcohol in it. But today it's Canada Dry sparkling seltzer water.
Yeah, I can take it though.
Shoot, it didn't stop me from having a drink at night when I had to get up early.
That never stopped you, Kim? Is that
No.
Set 2 or 3 alarms. That's all.
That's what you got to do.
You're right.
What time do you have to get up, Janice?
I'm usually up. The alarm goes off at 2:50. And I'm in the car at 3 a.m. I put out all my clothes like a 5-year-old. Mm-hmm. So I take a shower the night before. And so 2:50, I'm awake, and I'm not really awake, but I'm out the door. Thankfully, they are very kind and they get me a car service. Otherwise, I'm sure I'd be in like 20 accidents on the Long Island Expressway.
That's good. I wish I had that. I can't wait to the day of like automatic drivable cars and I could just...
Yes, I agree.
Me to work.
It's one of the biggest. Honestly, when I think about it, especially now at my age, I don't know if I could do the job if I didn't have that kind of help. You know, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that? How long have you been getting up that early?
Well, I mean, throughout my career, I've been probably like more mornings than not. But doing Fox and Friends, you know, it's been, I think, 2 years now, but I started my career during mornings. So, you know, you never get used to it. You never get used to it.
I've been doing it, 20 years? I'm still not used to it.
Oh, I know.
I'm still like, shut up. I haven't had my coffee.
Let me quick say this. Anybody that's joining us live watching the raw version of Stone
we are hard.
This is all the behind the scenes stuff that you will not get on the audio podcast. So I just wanted to recognize the fact that if you're tuning into us on YouTube after the fact and you're going, what the hell is this? It's nothing, really.
We're just getting to know each other.
That's right.
All right. So once again, Janice, thanks for taking one for the team today.
You got it.
Well done. Well done.
Have you looked at all the Twitter comments today?
You know, I found enough to the first 10. I was good. I had to stop. We were good at that.
So funny. Oh my gosh. Today it just went crazy.
Yeah, you're awesome. You're awesome. So yeah, I'll wait. I'll wait to ask questions to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just drink my Canada Dry sparkling seltzer water.
That's what it says on the outside.
You know me well.
Exactly.
Wow.
All right.
So are we waiting on Brady? Oh, there he is.
Maz is
Brady.
That was a rush to get home right there.
Me too, Brady.
I booked it.
I was afraid.
You did it. Hey, it's all for Janice. We'll do anything for her, right?
Thank you.
I did. I went through red lights.
Wow.
We didn't ask you to do that.
No, don't get arrested. You don't want you getting arrested.
Yeah.
That's all right. My husband's an ex-cop. He'll help me out of it.
Nice. I love it.
I don't know. There's a lot of people on the force that he doesn't know anymore, so I don't know how that's going to go over. Anyway. Oh, cool.
I like your kitchen. Are you in the kitchen, Kim?
I'm in the basement.
I am too. This is my laundry room. If you pan over here, there's the I think that's a vacuum cleaner. I'm no.
Oh, yeah. No, this is my basement where this is at the bar. We're actually there. My album, some of my album collection.
Oh, I love it. Is that Led Zeppelin on the wall and Rush?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Holy moly! I am your best friend right now.
Janice.
You are a rock star. Look at you.
When you love the 80s stuff, Top Gun and all that. I'm like, I know she's gonna like some of this music.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so I've got all kinds of stuff here.
Look at you, Harley Davidson mama.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
I do have my license, but I don't ride anymore.
Oh my gosh, you are like a rock star.
Well, I don't know about that, but I do like motorcycles, but I let my husband do the driving.
Very cool.
I just go on the back. Yes.
I had to stop. My kids just ran in the front door.
Sounds like the kids are home.
I'm like, shut it. I just want to make sure you're home and safe. Now shut it.
I told my husband, I'm like, listen, don't bother me for an hour. Keep the kids at bay.
Yeah. Put them in their cage. Put them in their cage.
That's right. That's right.
How old are they, Janice?
They are 7 and 9. They're good boys. They're
good.
But,
Okay.
they're active, loud boys,
Oh, you got boys too. I got 2 boys.
I got 3.
As we usually are. Yeah, I was going to say. That's usually how it goes.
Hey, Maz, what's up?
Hey, how you doing? I just walked
Maz,
in.
we can
start now.
Good.
Oh,
All
thanks.
right. Hey, Mass.
Actually,
Hi,
I got
Maz.
sunglasses and everything on. Sorry.
Cool.
Fix that
Okay.
hair.
Let's do this. Okay, I'm quick go through a couple things. Hey, when we go through for my co-host, when we go through what are you drinking segment, this will probably be the last time I remind everybody, but we are trying to shorten that up a little bit.
So zip it. Hurry up.
It's Dean's fault.
I know. I do like to talk about what I drink.
Been through that a little bit. Don't forget to mute your phones, and if you need to, and this is more for Janice, if you need to mute your mic, if like my boys get loud or something like that, I'll have to do the same thing.
Okay.
We are recording a little earlier tonight, but if you move your mouse to the top of your video screen, you'll see there is a mute mic button and a mute video button.
Yep.
If you need to cough or you need to whatever, that's your option there.
Okay.
Everybody looks like their head's closer to the top of the screen, which is good. Okay, and then this is a quick thing for everybody. So I just got this new mixer, which the goal of getting this mixer was to try and mix in some of the sound effects that normally Mark or MJ has to edit in. That was the goal. The problem is we found out last week is that every time I talk or I try and play music and one of you are talking or laughing, I'm the first one that gets kind of drowned out and pushed out, which you guys are probably like, it's about time. But so here's the thing I want to say is
Good to have goals.
Yeah. There's going to be a couple times, number one, at the very beginning when I mentioned Janice as a guest, I'm going to try and play. Okay, so I'm going to try and play something like that. So I know in the past, everyone said, yay, and clapped and stuff. Instead of doing that, I'm just going to play that because if you start clapping and talking, it's going to drown me out. And then one of the things we're going to do at the beginning, we got 2, you guys know one of the what we just had been talking about is we asked our listeners, because we're looking for a new intro song, and we asked people if you want to submit an intro. So we got 2 intro songs. One of them is actually from Gabe Cox, who's from the Tornado Trackers, who was actually one of our guests at one point. But anyway, we got 2 awesome songs. I'm going to play both, but while I play the song, just listen. Okay, and then maybe afterwards you can comment before I play the second song. Instead of talking during the song or saying something during the song that might drown the sound out. And then when I play game show theme music, so when we do the lightning round with Janice, I'll play in the background, I'll be playing the game show music, which, is that thing. Yep, so while I'm doing that, again, just listen instead of talking and all that kind of stuff. Because every time you...
Yeah,
you can dance because that's fine. But every time you talk, they won't hear me. So
Will there be a chance for us to talk tonight?
Are we allowed to talk,
so.
Bill?
There always will be.
I don't think so.
There always will be. All right. What was that?
Whoa.
You sounded like a robot. Whoa! What is?
Whoa.
You're
Well,
sounding like a robot. Okay.
That's MJ.
he's doing that on purpose so he doesn't have to talk.
I am a robot. All right. So here's what we'll do, Janice. We'll go ahead and get started. I'm just going to go through some intro information, talk about some news. So I'm going to introduce those 2 songs. We'll also talk a little bit about helicitydesigns.com. Then we'll go to our happy hour. What are you drinking? We'll go through all of our co-hosts. And then, Kim, I'll turn it over to you for the introduction. Go through our interview portion. Whatever questions you guys have for Janice, fire away. We'll finish that close to the bottom of the hour or so. And then we'll jump to the lightning round. We'll do our lightning round, and then I'm going to do a quick plug for the Mid-Atlantic Chaser Con that's coming up, and we'll take our first break. We'll take that quick, and then we'll re-talk then. Everybody good?
Yeah, what was that middle thing again?
Yep, exactly.
Sorry, I had to mute it.
Janice, you have to understand this group of people. This is the funnest group of people
Awesome.
every 2 weeks to hang out with. It's a good time.
Plus, we drink a lot.
I was just going to say, do you ever take it on the road and go to a bar and like be together?
I'll tell you what, it's funny. We haven't done that. We have to do that. We have to. We got to do something down in, I think, in Atlanta, because at least we can catch Kim and Dina down there.
Be awesome.
I think because for Maz and I, that's not too far. Mark would be the one. MJ would be the one that might have to travel to Atlanta, but
not a bad trip though.
We should probably do that.
A lot of flights going in there.
We definitely need to do that, and then do a live podcast while we're there.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody would sponsor that.
I agree. Oh,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So everybody ready to roll?
Ready.
Let's do this.
All right. What am I forgetting? Nothing, I don't think.
There were a lot of rules tonight. I'm sorry, but
Okay, Dad.
Hey, the biggest rule is that the sound effects and when I talk rule, which I'm gonna have to fix that because we can't do that all the time. But we'll figure it out.
Remind me, Phil, we're supposed to talk during that, right?
all right.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there's a robot.
Wow.
Is
he even trying to do that?
Oh my God.
There's something going on.
Muted for the rest of the night.
I'm gonna count myself in tonight. All right, here we go. 3, 2. All right, hey, welcome to the most entertaining weather podcast. Whoa, I'm still hearing the robot sound. Why are we hearing that?
It's because MJ isn't muted. That's why.
You gotta mute yourself, MJ.
Mute it.
Cut yourself off.
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Off to
I
a
feel
good
like my hair should
start.
be
You
sticking
can't
out.
hear us. Hear someone type a.
He's not even talking, and we hear the robot sound now.
Oh, no.
Mute yourself. I'm offline right now. Just start, and I'll try to figure it out.
Wait, this is the Emmy show, right?
Can't start because
Oh.
we're hearing it in the background.
So he can't hear us. So anything you're saying, you have to type.
Ah.
Is that? Wow.
Do we have a do-over?
I don't know what to do.
MJ, what happens if you mute yourself? Oh, he did.
There we go.
There,
We're
now
good.
I'm muted. All right, there
All
we
right.
go. All right, let's give it a shot. All right. Isn't this fun? All of you guys watching behind the scenes, this is the stuff you won't hear on the edited podcast. All right, I think we got it out. All right, in 3,
Okay.
2. Hey, welcome to the most entertaining weather podcast on your listening and viewing device. Yes, this is the Stormfront Freaks podcast. If you are a first-time listener, thanks for stopping by. Be sure to check out our website, stormfrontfreaks.com, and check out the library of previous shows and famous guests from the weather industry that we've had up to this point. But tonight is episode 54, and we have been waiting anxiously for the show for months because we're joined by Fox News senior meteorologist Janice Dean from Fox and Friends. So welcome to Janice. We've also got a new lightning round to play tonight. We'll talk about how much personal information is too much or too little when sharing with our audience. And I always stick around for another episode of Mean Tweets and the best WX resources and weather fools of the season. But hey, before we get to Janice, I want to share some news with you. Couple things. If you've been listening to the last couple episodes, the key is, we've been talking about asking our listeners to submit a musical creation for our new intro song. So we've been going now for 2 years, and we're looking for a new intro song. So I do want to send another brief shout out to the creator of our current intro and outro that we have, which is Andrew Slotta. Created that on guitar, and I will have to say, I created the digital beat drum whatever background to that. So maybe I need to put a little bit of my credit there. But we have received 2 awesome, great entries for the new intro song, and we're going to share those with everybody tonight. We will have on our social media feeds and everything else an opportunity for you guys to chime in and let us know maybe what you like better. But the first one I'm going to share with you guys is from a past guest. One of our previous guests from the Storm Chaser group, the Tornado Trackers, was Gabe Cox. So a lot of my co-hosts, if you remember, I think this is last summer, we had the Tornado Trackers on. There were 3 of them, and Gabe Cox was one of them. And he submitted an intro song, and I want to share that with you guys tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and play that. You ready? Here we go. All right.
A drink at the end.
Yeah, I was like, is somebody pouring that, or is that
Wow.
I love the siren part in
I
there.
do too. I thought it sounded like a tornado warning right in it.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was great. I like it.
All right, so that was the first one, and yeah, he did, you know, because I said, hey, do it in the theme of the Stormfront Freaks podcast, and so there was definitely the tornado siren. There was some wind in the background. It started with, you might not have caught that at the beginning. I'll play it again at the very beginning. Catch this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, little yep.
Top of top.
Nice.
Bottle of fun.
What if you're drinking wine though? Then there's nothing for that. I guess
So
it's
that's
okay.
true. That's true.
Brady's our wine connoisseur.
Yes.
That
He's
covers
crazy.
covers the can. So anyway, so that was the first entry by Gabe Cox. The second entry came in from one of our listeners, Brett Epstein, and I'm going to go ahead and play that right now. All right.
Nice. That was
Wow.
good too.
Makes
Those
you
are
want to
both
make
good.
it.
ACDC, my goodness.
That reminded me of Lenny Kravitz.
It did.
It did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm. That was good.
That was great.
So
Be a
those
tough one.
those are both great, and one of the things we'll do is we do want our listeners to kind of let us know what you think of those two intro songs. You can I'm going to post something on our Twitter account, which is at Stormfront Freak without the S. But you can also feel free to send us an email at questions@stormfrontfreaks.com and let me know what you like. Did you like that first one from Gabe Cox? The second one from Brett Epstein? I guess let me know what you think. I loved them both.
I think we should do an
I do
American
too.
Idol style, Phil, where we let the audience choose and factor that in a certain percentage.
We could have made some money on that too if I would have thought of issuing some phone numbers people could call in on and cost 50 cents.
Bill, that'd been
Yeah,
cool.
well, who's going to man the lines, though?
All right, so I want to thank both of them for submitting that. That was outstanding. The other thing I want to share, hey, check out all the latest weather-themed fashions and accessories at helicitydesigns.com. While you're there, check out the exclusive line of Stormfront Freaks podcast shirts, hats, and drinking containers. With certainly more to come. I'm actually wearing, I'm going to quick stand up. You guys can see this one.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
There we go.
One of our logo shirts that they're doing, which is great because it wraps around the whole front of that. It's pretty cool. But what you can do for everybody, you can get a 5% discount on your entire order, not just the Stormfront Freaks merchandise, but everything they offer. All you got to do is enter the code PODCAST, PODCAST at checkout. You can also check out the new Hurricane collection they've got coming out. You can find it all at helicitydesigns.com. All right, it's always happy hour when we're recording. Tonight's a little earlier, but it doesn't matter. It's always happy hour, right? So step up to the Stormfront Freaks bar. We always ask you guys to join us as long as you're not at work and you're not driving. I'm going to jump to Brady. Brady, what are you drinking tonight?
All right. Well, I am drinking a white wine. I'm the wine guy, and this is from a region in France that I can't pronounce, and I'm not going to try. So it is very good.
Your own private vineyard.
My own private vineyard. Let's just call it that.
WHINE? Did you say the wine guy?
The wine guy.
Just checking.
Very good. Very good. All right, Maz, we'll jump to you. What are you drinking tonight?
All right, so I've got my Stormfront Freaks cup that changes color when you put something cold in it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Kinda
My boys
white.
love that.
That's because there's nothing in it. Okay, I mean, I just got home and I'm like,
Oh.
oh, are you
Okay.
kidding me?
Oh,
No one will
man.
get me anything. Where's my waitress?
Waitress.
Hey, during our break, we'll let you go and get something to
Thank
fill
you.
it up. All right, Kim, what are you drinking?
Okay, remember I told you I'm on this low carb diet?
Yeah.
I am, and I lost 4 pounds. But here's
Good.
my drink again.
Oh.
This is just club soda, vodka, and this time it's lemon slices, not raspberries. So something different, but refreshing.
That's
Good.
low carb.
I
This
miss
is
the
the first
beer.
time
though.
I think you have not had an IP.
I'm
know.
missing my beer. I'm missing
Wow.
my IPAs. I'm missing them. I was
You
at
can have
6
one. You can have one. That's in the budget.
Well, once I have one now,
she knows
stop. Yeah. Anyway, that's
Very
me.
good. All right, and then we'll finish Dina with you. What are you drinking tonight?
I
You
made
got
a
something
drink
special,
just for
right?
Janice. It's called the Wonder Woman.
All right.
And I love this drink. I've made it a couple times. I tweeted the recipe. It's so good. It's
What's
real
in it?
fruity. It's got Midori melon liqueur, peach schnapps, cranberry juice, orange juice, and pineapple juice. So it's real fruity, like you would drink it out at the beach, like you're on
Love it.
vacation.
With an
It
umbrella.
is so good. Yes. And it's great. I love this drink. I can drink it every day.
Very good. All right, well, let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get to our guest, our esteemed guest tonight. We've been waiting months for this because I'm usually scheduling our guests 2 to 3 months out in advance. And I will tell you this, Janice was one that we definitely had scheduled out in advance. But Kim, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. And, I'm very excited because Janice, I've admired you from afar.
Aw.
For me, I'm very excited to get a chance to meet you, sort of in digital world. But anyway, we're just so happy to have you here tonight. And
Well,
I know
listen,
it's tough.
I feel the same way about you, my dear, because, as weather people, I know myself before getting to Fox, I watch the Weather Channel all the time. And you were one of my favorites. So this is a big, love fest today.
It
I feel the
is.
same about you.
I love you, Janice. I love it. We love your energy, as I said on Twitter. It's like
Aw.
it's just wonderful. Anyway, so a little bit about Janice. If you guys didn't know, she's a native of Toronto and Ottawa, Ontario. She began her career working as a morning show host. Boy, you have been mornings for a long time.
Yeah.
And a reporter at an Ottawa-based radio station. I'm assuming it's Ches FM or
No, it's Shay.
Oh, excuse me.
That's
Shay.
okay.
Oh,
Oui, oui, oui,
Yes,
oui.
yeah.
Shay.
It's Shay 106. But I don't fault you for that because any normal person would say it's like Ches.
Call me normal. I love it. Okay. All right. So in 97, Janice became an on-camera weather forecaster at station CBOT. She became the news editor and an entertainment reporter for Imus in the morning, and then joined Fox Network in January of 04. Right now, she's a senior meteorologist at Fox News and can be seen weekday mornings very early, sometimes at 5 a.m. or maybe even earlier on Fox and Friends, and was inducted. This is really cool. Not many people have been inducted into the Meteorologist Hall of Fame on January 1st, 2017 in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah, woo! Also
Wow.
authored a series of children's books titled Freddie the Frogcaster. And I have to say, Janice, that I was excited about these children's books. And, anybody that has kids, there's a lot of, young meteorologists who have children. And I think this book is these are such great books. Tell us a little bit about what made you think about writing books. Was it because of your children or what got you started? And how did you come up with Freddie the Frogcaster?
Well, when I started at Fox, we had someone there named John Kasich, who's actually the governor of Ohio. And he had a show on Fox News on the weekends, and he was a great guy. And when I first got there, I remember he had a book released, and he came up to me in the hallway and he was like, Janice Dean, my girls are terrified of thunderstorms. You need to write a children's book series on thunderstorms or weather, because I think, kids are afraid of it.
Right.
I thought to myself, that is a good idea.
Thanks for the idea.
Yes. So John Kasich has been bothering me that he deserves like 20% of all the proceeds of Freddie.
20?
That's a lot, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the governor thing is not paying him well, but so I'll always be grateful for him because he put that light bulb in my head. But I didn't really start thinking about it until a few years later, when I really got serious about doing weather, because when I first started at Fox, I was, a weather forecaster. I didn't have the meteorology background, and I actually did it opposite to a lot of meteorologists. When I got to Fox and they said, will you do the weather? And I said yes, and I realized that this was going to be more of a career. I went back to school, and I did online courses with Mississippi State, which a lot of broadcasters do. It took me 3 years to complete the program, and then I applied for my AMS seal. So I wanted to get the background, the education background, before I started tackling all these other projects. So that was really important to me. And I will tell people, I tell kids when I go out to schools about writing books. I first approached HarperCollins. HarperCollins is a part of Fox News and part of the News Corp empire. And they liked the idea of weather books, but I had a couple of ideas that they didn't really like. So I got a rejection letter, a couple of them. Like, we like the idea of children's weather books, but we don't necessarily like your story ideas. And this first story idea was a child, a girl that was afraid of thunderstorms. So long story short, I found a publisher, Regnery Kids, that loved the idea and worked with me to find a character. I love frogs. I also read something that frogs are nature's natural weather forecasters. They will croak louder when they feel changes in the atmosphere. So I thought, my gosh, that's a no-brainer. And then I started thinking about, okay, well, when I first got to Fox, they called me a foxcaster. So I thought, okay, foxcaster, I can't do that. The groundhog is already taken. But I really love frogs. So I thought frogcaster. And then I started thinking about names like, I started with Al Croker, but
Oh my God.
I love it.
But I knew that might not go over so well. So then I made the character into Sal Croker, and then still it didn't sound right. And then I went to Sally Croker and made her a female role model for Freddie. And she's sort of the, she's been at the Frog News Network for many years. So she's kind of the, the seasoned broadcaster, if you will, there, and very good at her job. So Freddie sort of, she takes Freddie under her wing. And I'm really proud of the books. There's 5 of them. We covered tornadoes, hurricanes, thunderstorms. I did a flash flood, and we did the big blizzard. And when I go out to schools, I mean, I'm sure you guys know this when you go out and talk to kids kids are excited talking about
They
weather.
do.
They love it. They love talking about the storm that went through their neighborhood when the power went out. And I think if you tap into that excitement, then you can take the scare out of potentially dangerous situations. So really proud of the Freddy series. And I'm in talks right now to start maybe a Freddy animation. So cross your fingers on that.
All right.
Great.
Yeah, exciting.
Wow.
Sesame Street on line 1.
Come on.
Listen. I won't lie, Janice. When I first reached out to you, it was because I saw you were doing that Freddy the Frogcaster book series.
Yep.
And I just thought that was a great idea. That was actually the first reason that I reached out to you. was for that.
Love it.
And I'll be honest, I I forgot that I was going to ask you, hey, can I get one of those books for my kids?
Of course.
Got that.
Oh my gosh, I'll send you all books. Yes, I'll send you all books. The only thing is I need to have one of those fancy Stormfront t-shirts.
I think we can
Gotcha.
probably work that out.
Stormfront.
I think so
Deal.
too.
Yeah.
And a cup
Yeah.
too.
Design you up
Good.
right now. We'll do
I
that.
like it. Everybody gets Freddy. Freddy for everybody.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
But
All right,
you're
so
right,
Janice-
like the kids really get into it. Once you I don't think my kids have ever really been afraid of weather because I've always talked to them about it since they were real little.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that's the point too. If we didn't do what we do you think I wouldn't be able to explain why a tornado happens or what happens with a hurricane, the ingredients that you need, or why a thunderstorm happens. I think, parents who don't study weather, it's hard for them to really tell kids what happens in the atmosphere in a simplistic way, because you can get very technical and then you're like, what?
Right.
So that's, what I wanted to balance at the back of the book. So there's the story that, that tells the story about Freddy and his weather adventures. But at the back of the book, I also have a glossary of real meteorological terms that if you really want to get into it with your kids, you can talk
that's
about the
good.
science
That's
behind
good.
it. Yeah.
Good.
I
Wasn't-
quiz my kids too. Like if I see precipitation bouncing off the windshield, what is it? I quiz them. I quiz them. It's bouncing. What is it?
I love it. I love
Do you
it.
do you grade their papers then too?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit.
My kids don't care one bit.
They
Cannot be
don't
my
care?
kids. I'm sorry?
They don't care about weather?
No interest at all. Zero. I've got
Wow.
3 boys and they could care less.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't even think they know I was on the Weather Channel. I really don't.
Really?
So I'm like,
Wow.
I can't believe
Wow.
it. Anyway.
So Janice, that's a
Sad.
pretty good segue. So what got you interested in weather? Some people say it's when they were kids. Some people say it was a weather event. What kind of started your interest for this?
Listen, I've always been interested in weather. It's interesting that I kind of did it backwards, that I started with the sort of the journalism, the reporting, the classic rock DJ. I think all of those careers actually has led me to this moment. I feel like, I'm a better broadcaster and I'm better at, getting messages out there because of my background and what I did before doing weather. But going back, listen, I'm from Canada where ice storms shut our city down for weeks. We had a big ice storm in Ottawa in the 90s that I remember the National Guard had to come in, and it was all about it was neighbors helping neighbors. We didn't have power for many days, and I was fascinated by how do they know how this is going to happen, and how do you prepare for something like this? So I always had an interest in weather. My mom, it's funny, some people will say, what advice did your mom give you growing up? And I just always remember her saying, don't go out in freezing rain. Don't drive in freezing rain. That was Ottawa. That was like freezing rain. It was like the big thing. And it really would coat highways and roadways and cause havoc. So the interest was there. It was always there. So when CBC back home, when I was DJing actually at the time, I did a lot of part-time television on the side, and the program director at CBC said to me, I would really love to get you into television some way. Have you ever done weather before? And I said, no. But back then, you just had to have a great personality, and they hired you, and you learned the trade while you were there. Nowadays, you can't do that. Unfortunately, you have to. And I agree, like the education is very important. But I still believe in that old school. You do the weather when the weather is nasty and you get your message across. But if the weather's great, let's have a good time. Let's have fun with it.
Let's show cute puppies.
Let's show cute puppies.
And kittens. Don't forget the kittens. Come on.
And cat video. Cat video.
Gotta have a cat video when it's sunny outside.
That's right.
So tell us about this Hall of Fame thing. That is so cool.
It is cool. I'll tell you, I had never done Groundhog Day in Punxsutawney. So first of all, it was a bucket list. It was a bucket list thing to do. You know, a Groundhog Day with Bill Murray is one of maybe my top movie. I love that movie. I've seen it a million times. I had the VHS copy, and it's completely ruined because I watched it so much. So you always have that, you know, that idea of what Punxsutawney is going to be like. So they contacted me. You know, the Freddie series helped with that. You know, once the word got across that I was helping kids understand weather with these books, they got in touch with me and said, we really like the message that you're, you know, bringing to kids, talking about school safety and weather and how we can prepare in advance. And we would love to nominate you for our Weathercasting Hall of Fame. And we've got some Weather Channel people there. I mean, Jim Cantori is there and Stephanie Abrams is there. So I was like, what? Are you sure? Are you talking to me? Like, so it was an amazing moment because I got to be there for Groundhog Day, and then I got to be there for the big induction, and I brought my two sons with me and my husband. We shared that moment. We got to see this beautiful, amazing, adorable town, and we got to meet the groundhog, which, you know, like, it was an amazing moment.
Now, do you have a good hat?
I always have good hats.
When you're in Punxsutawney, you need the crazy hat.
You know, when we were there, we bought several hats. And I'm addicted because I went online this year so that I would have a crazy hat to wear on Fox and Friends. We didn't get to go this year to Groundhog Day, but I want to go back next year. You know, I'm an alumni now.
Yes,
that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, so you got to meet Cantori, and you probably got to at least see him and see Jen Carfagno.
Yeah,
I love them.
There, yeah.
Yeah, I love Jen. I love Jim. They're both really cool people.
Yeah, they're good people.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, so where do you
ahead.
go from where you're going? Like, what's next? What's the pinnacle? You're at the pinnacle, aren't you?
I listen. I feel like I've been there for 15 years. I've been at Fox, and I was saying this today that, listen, we're in this really weird political climate where it's like everybody is at each other and everybody's angry. And I'm really glad that I get to do the weather. Like there are times like today where I got into the weeds a little bit, because sometimes I feel like I want to be neutral, but there are things out there that really bother me. And I'm like, sometimes I have an opinion and then I'll go back to the weather. I don't do it very often. I did that today. If you go on Twitter, you'll see what I posted, but I'm very grateful for the job that I do, and I love the place that I work. I mean, listen, people talk about Fox News and they say terrible things about us, but when you go there and you meet the people I work with, it's like a family. Honestly, the crew that I work with, I don't care who they voted for. I don't know who they voted for, but we work together well. And you know, if you work mornings, it's very, you know, you're up at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's a weird club that you're in. So you need people who've got your backs. And I feel that. Yeah. I feel like this is the best job that I've ever had. You know, I get it. I understand we're into this weirdness right now with everybody sort of at each other. And I hate that about what's going on. But I feel like weather brings everyone together. Everyone experiences the weather, right? So I feel lucky that, you know, they go to me and I say I do fair and balanced weather. East Coast, West Coast, everywhere.
It doesn't matter what party you are, you can get hit by a tornado.
That's right. That's exactly it. Yeah.
All right. Hey, I've got a question for you. So you have a past with Imus in the morning.
Oh.
So here's my question. I want to know, what's the craziest story you got working in that jungle? There's
a lot of crazy stories, and you know, I haven't talked about Imus a lot, but you know what? You've got an exclusive right now, okay? Because I haven't. Okay, nice. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, yeah. So I am coming out with a book next year. You know, I write children's books. Well, one of the editors at HarperCollins recently wrote me a couple of months ago, and he said, Janice Dean, I know you write children's weather books, but do you have an adult book in there somewhere, like a memoir? Because you've got all these things that have happened to you over the years. And, you know, if you follow me, you know that I'm pretty open and honest about the journey that I've had. I've been diagnosed with MS for 13 years now. I have multiple sclerosis, and I'm pretty open about my what I do outside of the weather and the experiences that I've had. I haven't really talked about Imus because Imus was a really difficult, challenging job. He wasn't a nice person, and he wasn't good to me either. So I did that job. That job actually brought me to New York, which I'm always grateful for. I mean, if I hadn't come to New York and done that job, I wouldn't have met my husband. I wouldn't have met my children. So I'm grateful for that. But it was an abusive job. He wasn't a nice person. And, the people that worked with him, some of them were great people. But it was a tough job. So having said that, I cover a lot of this in this book that I'm going to be publishing in April of next year. So I will tell you this, it was a challenging moment. I'm not sure why he didn't particularly like me and said a lot of mean, nasty things to me off camera and on camera. But I did write a chapter on it, and I promised to come back when it's out there, and I will, get right
I want to read that.
Yeah, me too.
Because we've all, like Kim
we've
and
all
both,
been there,
we've
right?
all had it. We've all
Yeah, we
had it.
have.
We've all had that one. Yeah.
And
And I
listen,
appreciate you being so honest, because sometimes you get people, and I'm not saying even on this podcast, but you get people on air that are like, oh, it was fine, it was good, and they water it down, and
right.
you just want to hear the truth.
Listen, for many years I did that. For many years I didn't talk about it. And now I feel like there's an opportunity. We're into sort of this movement of being honest and saying, listen, calling out bad behavior, and I'm calling out the bad behavior. I mean, it was to the point where I had to leave, and thank goodness that Fox hired me, because it got me out of a pretty bad situation, unfortunately.
Dina,
That's
Dina,
What?
which people on this podcast?
I was looking right at you.
I saw it. I'm like, hey, everywhere I move, she's looking at me.
When Janice said too that, we're in that climate where we are standing up for ourselves more, the great thing about this changing climate is that people are listening now.
Yeah, it's true.
It's not just complaining or trying to get help.
No,
it's that it's actually getting, we're actually moving forward.
Yes. And listen, it is, there's a fine line we walk, because we're going to have bosses or people that bother us or do silly things or say stupid things. And that's just part of life. We have to deal with that. But then there are people who are abusive and mean and have no right to treat people that way. So I feel like we're living in a moment right now where people are being embraced for speaking their truth. And, I'm grateful for that. Listen, like I said, I'm grateful for the opportunity to come to New York, because I can't imagine my life the way it was, not having my children, not having my husband. But it was certainly a difficult time. Not to bring the room down. I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. Let me fill my drink.
It's Phil's fault. Really.
Yeah, it is Phil's fault. Come on,
No.
Phil. This was one of the rules we went over. You can't bring the room down, Phil. Come on.
Let me change it up. I'm going to change it up. So why did you move to the States, and why did you want to get out of Canada so bad? That's what I want to know.
Oh my
A.
gosh.
You got to say A though.
A.
See, this podcast, it's only an hour, and I feel like I have all these stories to tell you. So I moved out of New York, or rather, I moved out of Canada originally to follow a boy to Houston, an ex-boyfriend. So I moved to Houston. I have dual citizenship. My father was American. I was able, he moved to Canada, met my mom, gave up his U.S. citizenship, but back in the 80s with the free trade agreement, he had an ability to actually get back his U.S. citizenship, and in turn doing that, his kids were able to become dual citizens. So I'm very grateful for that, because I wouldn't be here without that, I don't think. So I moved to Houston for a number of years. I did radio and television there. The relationship didn't work out. I moved back to Canada for less than a year, and that's when a coworker of mine came up with the Imus job and said, oh, you'd be really good at this. And on paper, it was a perfect job for me. It had radio, it had television, it had news. And so that's how I moved to New York. But yeah, I've been in the States now probably most of my adult life.
Janice, I could have told you Canada to Texas, it's not going to work out.
Truth. Yeah, and listen, you know what? I met some of the best friends that I have in my life in Houston, Texas. So, Houston served its purpose of, I was able to build my career, And I was also able to meet some great, fabulous friends. And I'm still in touch with the ex-boyfriend.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
actually a pretty good segue into my question. So I've seen you covered Harvey, Irma, Sandy, Irene, Earl, Katrina. Do you like hurricanes more than other storms? And B, what was your favorite or least favorite and why?
Listen, hurricanes are like, take out the devastation that what happens with the hurricanes. But hurricanes are like a storyline. In the cable news business, we do the weather report. We get like a minute if we're lucky, sometimes a minute 30. But when we have a big weather story, that is our time to really, get out there and warn the public. And with hurricanes, it's like an unfolding story that can go many days, 5, 7, 10 days, right? Mm-hmm. So I feel like with hurricanes, there's more of a preparation plan. There's more of an ability to warn people in advance. Obviously with tornadoes, you do the best you can. You show them the area of concern. You make sure that they know what a watch or a warning looks like and what to do. But a hurricane really is sort of, an unfolding event that the nation really wants to know about. So I find that with hurricanes, there seems to be a little bit more of an interest. Not to say that other big weather phenomenons like blizzards and tornadoes don't take precedence. They do. They can be obviously very dangerous. But for me, the biggest storm I ever covered was Katrina. However, I will say this, that with the information coming out about Maria having reportedly, oh my gosh, man. It's devastating. So I think to myself, if it's true and over 4,000 people died in Hurricane Maria, then that has to be the biggest tragedy that I've ever covered.
Definitely. Yeah. And it's so sad because some of that was preventable.
Yeah, absolutely. So Hurricane Sandy was a big one too. Big one for me because I was the first official broadcaster that went on the air to tell people that it was making its curve towards the Northeast. The Euro many days out was showing the scenario where it was going into the Northeast, but the GFS and the other computer models weren't quite there. But the day that all of the computer models and the cone of uncertainty started to go towards the Northeast, it came out right before the 11 a.m. advisory. I had an 11:30 coming up on Fox, and I called our executive producer and said, we have to go on air and you have to do a Fox News alert because there's the potential of this to do incredible damage to the Northeast, including New York City. So it's on record that I was the first national meteorologist to go on.
Bam!
Wait a minute. I think I was. Hang on a second.
Let's do it. Let's go. But I'm sure the Weather Channel was all over it, but for cable news, for the national weather, it was a big deal. And I took a lot of flack for that as overhyping and scare tactics and screaming.
They always say that, though.
I know they do, and I always say I'd rather people be over prepared than under prepared. I'd rather tell people and get them mad at me that I got the wrong forecast than have people unprepared and not knowing what to do.
So Janice, are you, because you're animated right now, are you when you get excited you're like, hey, Sandy's coming, or I mean, do you consider yourself above average?
I'm definitely above average.
You have to be, yeah.
I think I've always been like that. I think, I do think that's part of my personality. I think you could ask my kids and I'm like, get your clothes on. But I've always been like that. So, but I feel like it's important. And like I said, I would rather get people listening to the television because there's so much noise out there. And if I can do that, I'll take the flack of people being angry if I get the forecast wrong or what have you. But Sandy was an important one. Yeah.
Janice, do you get an amount of time that you want for situations like that, or do they dictate how much time you get?
No, hurricanes, they are pretty good about giving me a lot of time. During normal weather segments, I wish I had a little more time, but when it's important and like I've been there for so long that they know that if I say to them, you have to give me more time to warn people, they do it. Yeah.
What's the most time you've been given?
Oh my gosh. Well, usually if there's breaking news and I'm on with Shepard Smith, it's just him and I sometimes. I mean, when we were going through the hurricane season of 2004, 2005, it was just him and I. You know, it literally was like, and then if we had a reporter on scene, we would go. So there's been cases where I've probably been on the air nonstop, maybe, 20, 25 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah, that's good.
All right, so Janice, one of the last questions.
Yeah.
Do you prefer Janice Dean, the weather machine, or Janice Dean, the weather queen?
Oh.
Those are two good ones, Brady.
I may have not come up with those, but
That's okay. That's okay. I like Weather Machine because I talk about Shepard Smith. He was the one that came up with that. When I first started at Fox, he was doing rehearsals with me before I went on air with Fox. And he's so funny. I mean, if you ever watch him, he's the smartest guy I know. He's so brilliant. You can always tell his wheels are turning. So I'm in the studio with him. And he's like, Janice Dean, Janice Dean, Janice Dean, Janice Dean, the weather machine. So I was like, okay, I will own that. And it's stuck ever since. And who knew that would be on the cover of like children's books? It's fantastic.
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Hey, Janice, tell all our listeners, viewers, how can they find you on social media?
Oh my goodness. At Janice Dean is the Twitter. Instagram is Janice Dean FNC, and then it's Janice Dean on Facebook. Yeah.
Okay. So you have a Facebook account, huh?
I do. Yeah.
A lot of people are ditching that. I'm considering it.
And I understand it. I get it. It's crazy. I totally understand it. Yeah.
All right, well, hey, let's do this. It is time for our lightning round. This is our game show of brilliant questions for our guests. We always invite everybody to play along. Tonight, we are going to play Name That Tune. So here's what we're going to do, Janice. I want to find out, first off, we're going to let everybody play along, including our freaks. What we will do is this. You need to tell me, I'm going to give you three options. We're going to either be in 70s rock, 80s heavy metal, or 90s old school hip hop. You got to tell me which of those three areas you want to play Name That Tune in.
Okay.
And then what we'll do is I'm going to give you play a little clip of a song, give you an opportunity to name that tune. If you can't, I'm going to turn it over to the freaks to give them an opportunity to name it. And we'll kind of sort of keep score, I guess, in the process a little bit. So you tell me, what do you want? 70s rock, 80s heavy metal, or 90s hip hop?
80s heavy metal.
That's real. I'm glad you picked that because that's what I
was hoping you got the 80s.
Man, I'm getting old.
Brady's
You like the hip hop?
Brady wasn't born yet. I don't know.
I mean, I was questionable with 90s hip hop. So
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. So I'm going to play a little clip of the beginning of a song. You got to tell me. You just tell me what's the. Yeah, I'll give you this. You tell me either the band or the singer or the name of the song. I'll give you either one. You can take it. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. We'll start with this one first.
Oh.
Okay. Let it go a little longer.
I can barely hear it.
I know, it's hard to hear.
Is it hard to hear? I'll turn it up a little bit here.
That's better.
Oh, man. I don't know. You've stumped me.
Oh, I know. Oh, I think I know
You
it.
do you know, Kim? You're a big...
All right, go. I'm going to give this to you, Janice. First off, name of the song.
I don't know. Is it like... let's see. What does it sound like? It sounds like...
Okay.
I don't know. Scorpions?
That would be
Give her a hint.
that would be a no. All right, turn it over to the freaks. What do you guys think?
Oh, I got it. Can I give her a hint? Or do I just guess?
It's up to you guys. You get the points if you get it.
Do it.
It's Dr.
Feelgood?
That would be Dr. Feelgood.
Oh!
yeah.
That's true.
Dina, I'm so
go.
proud, man.
I'm
Dina.
telling you, the 80s.
All right, here we go. Here's the next one, Janice. This is for you. Take a listen.
Running with the devil!
Woo!
What was it?
Running with the devil. Running with the devil.
No,
Is it right?
Oh,
It's not. I'm turning it over to the freaks. It was close, but what do you guys?
Oh my God! What?
I need more.
Play 10 seconds more.
Play it again. I know this too.
How about Black Knights? That sounds like a heavy metal.
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dang it! I think I even have this on my iPad.
I feel like I know it, but I don't
What
know
is it?
I'm trying to remember. I thought you had it right, Janice.
I know, running with the devil.
One of my faves. Now,
We're not gonna get it.
Kim.
They'll just tell
I
us.
don't know.
That was "Shout at the Devil" by
Shout at the devil.
Oh,
she was close.
You're playing hairband music. This is not heavy metal.
Well, yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Listen, if I played real heavy metal, there would be very few people listening that would probably get it.
Okay.
Finding
Phil, can I ask you something?
Queen's
All
right.
right, here we go. All right, Janice, we're back to you.
Okay, I gotta tell you something. Like my little battery on this computer is almost dead. Do you go to a commercial where I can run up and get some like power to this machine?
We'll go ahead on
I'm an
that.
idiot.
Listen, I'm gonna play here's what I'm gonna do to make a nice segue. I'm gonna play the beginning of the song.
Okay,
A quick break, and we'll come back right after this.
excellent.
Oh, that's we did that one already. We'll have to edit that. Where was it? Here we go.
Oh yeah.
I know this one.
I do too.
No. T-Rex, get it.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come right back.
Okay, all right. I'll go get my power pack. Hang on.
Okay. Play it again, Phil.
You know, I actually like going to break with like music. That's sweet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you guys an extra.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Let's hear it again, because
No, I'm not giving you guys extra time that she doesn't.
Can I guess it now?
Nope.
I remember like running with this, like in my old headphones, my old cassette tape headphones.
Is it
back in
Running with the
80s.
Devil?
No, it's
She
not
was
Van
so
Halen.
close, it threw me
It's
off.
not Van Halen.
But no, I was
It's,
trying to think of something completely different.
Can you hear me, Phil?
I can. You obviously you're maybe.
It's still big and weird.
It's just my built-in mic, so it's not
Okay.
going to be good.
It's not crazy, but it's not a robot.
You're not sounding like.
You're not Wally. Wally.
Wah, 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 wah.
Oh yeah.
Literally, MJ, you
you're-
sounded like a robot.
Yeah, I know it was right.
It was
Thank you
Janice?
for doing that. I apologize.
It's been
I
bad.
apologize. I didn't realize I didn't have my power plugged in.
It's okay. Show's over anyway.
We're
She
done.
went and got her Shazam app. She's ready.
All
We're
right,
ready.
you good? Okay, so here we go. I'll count back in, and then I'll
Awesome.
play it over for you, Janice. So we'll
Thank
start.
you.
All right. In 3, 2. Okay, so we're back. Janice, I'm going to play the song for you again. Let's see if you can figure it out.
Oh man.
All right, you figure it out. I'll give you that. What do you get? What do you think?
Ugh.
That one's hard. It's the
I
tip
know
of
it's
my tongue
hard.
too.
I should have picked 70s classic rock. I probably would have done better than that. No, I can't. I don't know.
That's like saying I should have stayed in Houston.
Is it the
All right, I'm going to turn it over to the freaks. You guys have any guess on what that was?
Georgia Satellites?
Nope.
No.
Oh.
It sounds like it.
Devils. I don't know.
No.
Some
That
kind of
was,
run with the devil.
It's like
that
Oh,
song was Great White, Once Bitten, Twice.
Oh,
White Snake.
Once.
Oh.
Yeah,
yeah,
baby.
yeah.
Now,
Oh,
you
it's good.
other folks, you guys better get this one.
All right.
Janice, I'm going to start with you. Okay, you get a chance to listen first.
Got it.
Rock you like a hurricane.
Come on.
You got that. So Rock You Like a Hurricane, Scorpions.
All right,
Yes.
good.
Janice.
All right, I'm going to pick a couple more. Let's see what we got here. Let's do.
Do some of the
Oh, here's a
70s.
good one. Here's a good one. Ready? Janice, back to you. Here we go.
Yeah. around.
Got it.
Round and round. Is that rat?
That is correct.
Nice.
Rat, round and round. So very good.
All
And
right, Janice.
we're going to do one more. Ready?
Okay.
Janice, back to you. Here we go.
Okay. Oh, okay. AC/DC.
That was
Thunderstruck.
very good.
Back in
No,
the
Back
Was
in
it?
Black. You guys
Back
are
in
all
Black.
wrong. Even I know that. Come on.
I know. It took us like we know
It'll take
it.
me a second. I think I was hoping he was going to do that one because that's a classic Met song.
Who gets the point for that, Phil? I think I do.
I don't know.
Janice, guys, you said AC/DC, and all I said was you had to pick either the name of the song or the band, and she got those. So very good, Janice. Well done.
All right. Woo.
Yeah.
Wait, this is where we're quiet. Remember, guys.
I remember you guys.
Oh yeah, we gotta be quiet.
Anyway, great job, Janice. You did a wonderful job on that. Very good. So let's do this. Hey, Brady, I got a question for you.
Yep. Shoot, Phil.
All right. So what are you doing Saturday, October 27th?
I think I'm not doing anything that day.
Carving
Play with
pumpkins.
kittens.
Well, I'll tell you what. Now would be the time to make plans to attend the first ever Mid-Atlantic Chaser Con, which is at the Science Museum of Virginia in Richmond. Storm chasers and weather freaks like us, you're going to love the lineup of speakers. It includes former guests on our show. You guys might have heard of Catherine Prosiv.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So she's going to be there. How about Ian Livingston?
Oh, I love him. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's been on our show, so he's going to be there as well. Lots of other local TV meteorologists and legendary storm chasers will be speaking. All you got to do is visit Mid-Atlantic Chaser Con. So Mid-Atlantic Chaser Con, all one big word.com. Go there for more details. You can also register there. It's only $25. They don't allow walk-ups, so make sure you hurry and register before they sell out.
Doing that right now, Phil. Question: is airfare included?
25, yeah.
Oh, just drive.
Flap your wings, buddy.
No, it is not. All right, so we're going to take a short break. If you're listening to the audio podcast, you'll get to hear the Titan U Minute with Chris Sanner. But stay right here. We'll be back with Janice and the Freaks to talk about how much personal information we're willing to share with our listeners and viewers. And you'll also hear our recent edition of Mean Tweets read by Janice.
Janice and the Freaks. I like that.
All right. Break. We'll take a break. So, Maz, you need to fill up, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh,
come
yeah.
on, Maz.
Is that like an
Get a
order?
drink.
Oh, that's an order.
I'm going.
That is an order.
Loosen up a little bit.
Go get a drink. I'm almost done with mine. Look.
Come on, Kim's on a low carb
nice.
diet and she's got a drink. Come on.
I'm done too. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm finished with
I
mine.
probably need to go fill up too here. But, Janice,
Do it.
Will you do me a quick favor? Will you do a
Sure.
sound bite for us?
Yeah, of course.
You can just say, this is Janice Dean of Fox News. You're listening to the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Stormfront Freaks podcast. Okay. I'm Janice Dean of Fox News, Fox and Friends. Janice Dean, the weather machine, and you are watching Stormfront. What? I got to write this down. Hold on, because I'm going to forget it.
Blooper.
It's so good.
It's a lot. I know. I'll do it again. Don't worry. I'll perform. Okay. Stormfront.
Freaks podcast.
And if
Okay.
you could say listening, that's better than watching.
Listen.
Oh yeah. Okay. You are listening. Okay. I'm Janice Dean, the weather machine of Fox News and Fox and Friends. You are listening to Stormfront Freaks podcast.
All right.
Solid. Nice.
Thanks,
Love it.
Janice.
You got it.
Very good. All right. Well, let's do this just so we can get Janice going here. I don't want to hold on to her here for too long.
No, it's good. It's good. Listen, this is a nice break for my children. Don't tell them I said that.
I'm surprised mine aren't knocking on the door waiting for dinner
Then give me 2 minutes to quick go fill my drink. I'll be right back.
yet.
All right, Phil. Is he really going? He really is.
Yeah, he
It
is.
really is.
We like Drunk Phil.
Drunk
Yeah.
Phil.
Yeah,
We
Drunk
haven't seen
Wait,
Drunk
That
Phil
was,
in a
that was a
while.
show title once.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the jobs of all of you guys? Tell me a little bit about yourselves.
Game show host.
Yep. What I figured.
Studley
Podcast.
model for him. I'm a
Oh,
meteorologist too.
Yep.
I work at the Weather Channel's digital side.
I love
yeah.
you. I wish you were on TV more. Are they going to get you on TV?
I do it once in a while, but I'm more behind the scenes.
Right.
I do I do mornings.
Okay, you do work with Dominica?
Yeah.
Yeah. She used to work at Fox.
Yeah. In fact,
hello.
yeah. In fact, I asked her the other day. I said, "Do you know Janice?" She goes, "Oh yeah, she's so nice."
Aww.
I'm like, "Oh, good. That's good to know." So, right off the bat, you had some good.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's kind. Yeah, I appreciate that.
And I used to work with Kim.
Yep.
Aw, Kim.
Back on the TV side.
You miss it?
I miss the people, Janice, to be honest with you. And I think once I got away from it and realized that I missed 4,000 meals with my family,
Yep.
It hit home that, you know what, I did it, done it.
Absolutely.
My dream came true working with the Weather Channel. Now it's time for family. And
I love it.
I didn't want to get back into it because of that reason, because I didn't want to work weird hours anymore. I didn't want to work weekends. I didn't want to be on call by my phone all the time. And someday you may get to that point, and some people make it to that point. But I just decided, I did it. I'm glad I did it, and I miss the people. I miss Dina. So many great people that work there, and as you know, you get close to these people. Yeah, and it's. I love this. This is my geekiness coming out. So
I love
I
it.
get weather for a year.
I feel the same. I feel the same way. I feel like I've done it. I really don't want to go anywhere else, and this will probably be my last job. Real official broadcasting job, and I'm good with that. Like literally, I feel, the stuff that you go through, you realize if it ended tomorrow, the career stuff, it doesn't matter. The most important things are my kids and my health and my husband, and that's it. I honestly, I'd miss the people, but I'm not one of those people that needs to be on TV for to feel good about themselves,
Right. For me, it was all about the communicating of the weather, the love for weather. And so, that part I could care less. I really could care less about it.
I think you get to a point too in your career where like, I've done proving myself.
Exactly.
I've done it. I've proven myself. I don't need to prove it anymore.
That's right. They're not going to say in my eulogy, she was a great TV personality.
They're
going to say
you don't want that to be it, right?
No.
Yeah.
She was a great mom. She was a great wife and a great human being.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
My dream came true too because Kim was on the Weather Channel, and I used to watch you all the time, Kim.
Well, my Cincinnati connections up there. I love it. Well, there's some things that I miss about it, but when my boys got to high school, and when they let me go at the Weather Channel, I thought, this is a blessing in disguise because they're in high school and they're going to be gone. Yeah. And I would literally wouldn't see them until the next morning. I would only see them in the mornings because when they got home from school, I was at the Weather Channel until 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock or whatever. Yeah. And 5 days a week.
Yeah.
So
and your schedule was always flip-flopping, Kim. Like at least I was always mornings.
Right.
I rarely changed off mornings, but yours, like you'd be in here one day, you'd be in a different day part another day, and
I worked weekends for a while too. It's really tough. It was hard. And listen, there's a lot of hard-working people out there that work weekends, and God bless them. But I get it. When you don't see your kids on the weekend, it's really tough.
You know what my last gig was? 2 24-hour shifts, all Saturday, all Sunday.
Oh, gosh.
I thought that would be a dream.
What are you, a fireman?
I don't remember much of that time now.
Oh, I bet.
My brain is like, I did that.
But you guys said you wouldn't take it back for the world. Is that right?
Well, I wouldn't give it. I'm
glad we did it.
Right.
I wouldn't keep going. That's no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now that I have warm beer, no.
Kind of like a goal.
Still the same color.
I know the color.
Yeah, your glass didn't change.
It's because it is warm. No one refrigerated it.
We'll get back. So what I'll do, we'll come back with the discussion topic, which is to share or not to share. So certainly Maz.
Yes.
Kim, especially with Janice, since you guys have been a little bit more on TV, get your feedback on this, which is basically how much information are you comfortable sharing, and how much should we be sharing? Obviously, people keep wanting more and more as the years go on. but I just want to talk about that. So I'll set it up. I'll maybe go to Janice or Kim or Maz, one of you guys first to start, but feel free to jump in. And then the rest of you, certainly Dina and Brady, chime in with what you feel is too much or not enough when it comes to personal family information and stuff like that.
Hey, I was on Buckeye TV in Lane. I could share, my 5 years that we had on this.
Very good.
Good times.
Now Brady's got the robot thing going on.
Yeah,
Really?
Brady's bandwidth has not been good tonight. But,
Yeah, that's okay.
but anyway,
As long as we get to see his pretty face.
we'll rip through that a little bit, and then we'll go to the mean tweet. So Janice, if you've got the printout,
I do.
ready to go. Very good. All right, we'll do that, and then we'll take a break, and we'll say goodnight to Janice at that point. All right. Okay, so I will. I'm go ahead and count myself in. 3, 2. All right, so welcome back, everybody, to share or not to share. So in this age of social media, hundreds of TV channels, streaming networks, YouTube, and even podcasts, everyone wants to know everything about their favorite celebrity and sports star. The ones that share more personal information seem to kind of be the ones that get the most followers and build their celebrity status even further. But it's important to show everyone that we're real people too, right? But how personal should we really be getting? And I say we, because not for me by any stretch of the imagination, but we've got obviously a number of people on our panel here of co-hosts, as well as Janice that's with us, Janice Dean from Fox News. So Maz, I'm going to jump to you first. Now, your time in TV, social media probably wasn't at the point that it is now as well, but obviously
what you're saying is we didn't have it, right? You could say
There was no Twitter back
internet.
then.
I remember back in the day.
All right, so I'll say that, but we'll start there as a good starting point, Maz. What because you were local TV, what were you comfortable, and did you ever really share anything about yourself through any kind of outlet from a family or a personal side of things, or were you always business?
No, I want to say, I think it was the last station I was at, which was in Cincinnati. They asked us to answer these questions, and they would put things like, what's your favorite restaurant? What's your favorite whatever, favorite quote, favorite book, that type of thing. And so what I found interesting was, because this is Cincinnati, I'll put a quote out there, and I will get phone calls from like Oklahoma City. And I'm like, how did you find that? But that's when I found that it was kind of interesting. But I will tell you that, plus when we realized that, I remember distinctly when the auditors for the city or counties were going to put information out there where you could find anybody. And we were all like, don't do it. Don't put that on the news. As an anchor, we were like, please don't do that. And they did. And it was one of those times in my head, I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going to wind down now. Cause people knew when I wasn't home. And you can find everything on the auditor site. You can find what your house looks like, what the layout is, all that stuff. And I was like, oh, time to get a home security system. And it was after that, I just, in my head, I was like, yeah, it's time to maybe think of something else, just because I love my family more than I love a career. So it was one of those type things where it kind of sounded neat. And then I realized, gosh, anybody anywhere could find your info. Listen, if I'm on Facebook, my birthday is not my birthday. None of that stuff is on there. You better believe it. I not only shred, I cut out the little bars and everything. So,
Maz, I've got contacts. I've got all that information in my file system. Okay.
I'm Italian. I know where you live, buddy. So I am not a fan of sharing stuff like that, especially as Janice was talking about in this political climate. There's always half of the people who are going to be angry with you, and not just angry, but when I was in Rhode Island, I had a death threat. And it was because there were too many raindrops on the 7-day forecast. And they actually said, I know where he works. I know where he parks. I'm going to shoot him dead. And they didn't tell me for 2 days.
Wow.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because we had no fences or anything. It was just like a lawn and there's the station. And that's what it kind of started and snowballed in my head. I'm like, I got to find an exit strategy. What's it going to be?
Mhm.
So sorry to bring everybody down on that note,
No,
but
it's
that's kind of
important.
it was in my head, you know?
So Janice, so I'll segue to you a little bit, Janice,
Dang.
because you
That's-
have
Janet.
been, I think, very open
Mhm.
about your time with MS recently. I think it seems you've been open about I think it was when you started with Fox and you had some surgery and facial surgery that kept you out a bit, and you were very open about that. I guess what's your
Threshold.
how do you feel that maybe you can share this, maybe this I don't share?
Yeah, listen, I think throughout my career, I've been somebody who's been pretty open and honest about things. For me, I feel like, okay, I'm doing a service, providing weather information, but I'm also somebody that people will look at. And I don't like the fact that we're kind of like, you look at people on TV and somehow you think that they're perfect or they have no problems or they don't have, issues in their day-to-day thing, because they only see this sort of like fake facade. I go in there and they put the hair and the makeup. That's not who I am. I don't look like that. So I always thought, maybe I'm doing this for a greater purpose, I guess. And so when I was diagnosed with MS back in 2005, for a lot of time, a lot of coworkers and bosses actually said to me, you don't want to tell people. Don't tell people, don't tell the company, it'll be a mark against you. They'll think that, you're not going to be able to work at some point. I was lucky because Neil Cavuto, who works with me, also has MS. So he kind of, was a trailblazer. He was still doing a television show. He had been diagnosed with MS. And I felt like if he can do this and he can be open, honest, and all I wanted to do was find more people that were doing okay with the illness. That's all I wanted to do. I read a ton of books from people who were diagnosed. So I thought to myself, I want to be that person for somebody. If someone's diagnosed with a chronic illness, be it MS or whatever, maybe I can be somebody that they look at and be like, oh, she seems to be doing okay. Because that's what I wanted to see when I was diagnosed. So that's why I wanted to do that. The facial thing, so that's every day, unfortunately, in this crazy business that we're in, especially for women, getting older is not necessarily a good thing in television. Like men, unfortunately for you guys, you can be sort of distinguished and have the gray hair and the wrinkles and look still okay. But for women, we are scrutinized. And so I thought I was doing something that was like non-invasive. I did this sort of, this laser thing with my neck, and it gave me like facial palsy. And I was off work for a few months. And people started writing in like, where is she? Is it her MS? And I was, terrified, and I was scared, and I was ashamed. It brought up all these things like, why am I doing this to myself? What kind of business do I think that I need to be in to do this kind of work? And we put so much pressure on ourselves. And I thought it was important to share that with people. And man, I had a lot of people saying, why are you doing that? And I because I'm a real person, because I have these things, and I work in an industry where aging is not accepted, unfortunately, in some cases. I want to age gracefully. But I thought it was important to share that. And I've had more women and their daughters and even, young men come up to me and say, my mom thinks you're so great. Like, you're a good role model. So for me, that kind of stuff is important. When it comes to my kids, I've only recently brought them on to Fox and Friends because they're old enough to say that they want to be on television. When they weren't old enough to say, Mommy, I want to do this, I never brought them on TV. I didn't post their pictures. And my husband is still very protective. I don't do a whole lot of it. But they, very recently they came on to do Cooking with Friends. They wanted to do a segment on pizza bagels because that's what I make a lot of. And my husband was okay with it because I asked both of them. I said, do you want to do this? Are you okay with this? And they said, yeah, we want to do it. So that's where I still am nervous about posting pictures of my kids. My husband prefers that I don't do it as much, and I totally respect that. But of course, you're worried about your privacy. You're worried about your kids. It's this crazy environment that we live in. But like you know, I have a home protection service. I have home security. When I lived in Houston, I had a home invasion and I was at home at the time. So, you know, I've lived through a lot of scary things. But then the other side of me is, you know what? We can't be scared all the time. You know, like I can't live my life in fear. I can't be constantly worried about my children. You know, I have to believe that there are more good people out there than bad people. So that's, you know, that's how I deal with that stuff. When it comes to me, I'm kind of an open book. I'll tell people whatever they want to know, whether they like it or not. You know, it's the privacy thing and the home security and my kids. That's, you know, that's an important part of it.
Kim, what was your comfort level? And Maz, did you have something to add there?
Yeah, I was a little unclear. Did she call us distinguished or extinguished?
Distinguished.
Okay. I was just checking.
Kim, where's your comfort level?
Similar to Janice, actually. I went through some health issues too. I had thyroid cancer. I had melanoma skin cancer. I also have a child with Down syndrome. So while I wanted to keep maybe names private, especially of my kids, I talked about, you know, him having Down syndrome, mainly because I felt like, and Janice, I know you felt this way too, and Maz maybe, that, you know, people are watching us. If we can get the word out, if we can be an advocate and maybe get people aware of some of these things, that, you know, we're in a situation where maybe we can do that. And I felt that way with thyroid cancer when I went through it. For the same thing, I was gone for 6 months. People wanted to know where I was. So I was open about it. They wanted to know why I have I breathe. Like somebody wrote into the weather, just mean tweets and said, you know, what is wrong with Kim? She breathes heavy. What is, you know, it's terrible, you know? It's like, well, because I have one vocal cord that works. So, you know, you almost feel like you have to get that out there too, but definitely don't show pictures of the kids. That there was, you know, I wouldn't do that part of it. But I felt like if I could be an advocate, if I could get people to be aware of these things, that I'm okay with sharing that stuff. It doesn't bother me one bit, one bit at all. If I can help somebody, I feel like that's if
your reason to be
through this, right? I went through this horrible thing.
Yep.
If I can help somebody, it almost makes it so that's where I stood with it.
Yeah, it connects you too. It connects you like nothing else. You know, you're doing this job for a reason, to connect with people, to make people feel safe. But I also feel you're also doing a service of just connecting, you know, a person to person. That's really important. Yeah.
And I feel like if you are a little bit more personal about some of these things, they feel more connected to you.
Yeah.
They feel like they can trust you more. And that's important in our field, because when you're telling somebody to get to your basement because of the tornado, if they don't trust you, they feel like you're this cold person that is fake and doesn't have any problems. They're probably not going to listen to you as much as if they feel like they've gotten to know a little bit about you. So,
and I think it's part of that, you know, being real. You know, people are used to seeing you on TV or hearing you, whatever the case is. Not having that connection, I think, really helps people go, all right, you have the same dirty toilet that I have, and you have the same
dirty toilet.
Nobody sees that.
That's right. You have the same laundry that I have to wash.
That's right.
Yeah, you're a person just like I am, and I think that does help. And Kim, I think that was a good point. That helps me to go, okay, you're real. I can trust you, as opposed to you're this entity on the screen. There's no connection there. So,
and Dina and I have totally different laundry. I'm just saying. Right
now. Oh my gosh!
I hope
you've seen each other's laundry.
Well, I don't want to say anything.
Whoa!
Well, I'll say this.
He sends me pictures.
Okay.
Wait. No, I do not.
I'm kidding.
All right, we'll keep moving forward here on that note. Let us know what you guys think about that. Should we be more open? Should we be careful with how much we're sharing about personal lives? Email us at questions@stormfrontfreaks.com, or find us on Twitter or Facebook and tag us your thoughts so we can share that on the next show. All right, time now before Janice leaves for good old mean tweets. And I'll tell you what, we have scoured Twitter. And before today, I really had to scour Twitter for some stupid people making stupid responses to our guest. And until today, Janice, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And
Did it all for you. All for you.
in the footsteps of Jimmy Kimmel, we're going to have Janice read them live and get her reaction. But Janice did take one for the team today and made a Twitter comment that brought all the good old stupid trolls out. So, Janice, I'm going to have you open the list of mean tweets, and I'm going to give it to you.
Okay, here we go. So yeah, normally it is about weather and cute dogs and cats and, people doing good things. And today, the reason why I got the mean tweets was the Samantha Bee comment. I'm sure you've all heard of it. She made a terrible comment last night about the president's daughter. And listen, I understand both sides. I understand why people don't like him, and I understand why people like him, and I understand the Roseanne stuff. But today, that word that she used on television really bothered me. So I went out and I called it out. And I got some great tweets and I got some mean tweets. So here we go.
And some of those are included today. And just so you know, any of those kind of words we will beep out.
Okay. I won't say them. Okay. First one is from Rick. It says, "Oh God, now the Fox weather lady is chiming in on the Parkland shooting. What's next? The Fox cameraman?"
Oh.
I know. It's okay. Listen, that's another thing we struggle with is we're real people that have opinions on things. Yeah. And I try not to. I would say 80% of my Twitter feed is weather related and cute stuff and good news stories and feel good stuff. But occasionally I will comment on things that bother me as a mom.
How can you not? How can you not? We're around that all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
They're basically saying their opinion. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh, the trolls out there. It's crazy. Okay, so here we go. This is number 2. Geez, even the weather bunnies on FUX news, spelled like GNews, are brainwashed. Okay, that's
wow.
Weather bunnies.
Oh
bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
How old is that?
Yeah, the weather bunny thing.
Yeah.
Nobody says weather bunnies anymore.
Get some new material.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Oh, this is a good one. "Hey, Janice Dean, shut up about your opinion and tell me if it's gonna rain."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cats and dogs on their house.
I know. It's actually not bad, comparatively speaking. Here we go. Here's the good one here. This one's Mr. McNasty Pants. So
that already says a lot right there.
Yeah.
It does. I don't think there's a face on the Mr. McNasty.
Of course there isn't.
Probably not.
Okay, so it says, Janice Dean, shut the F up, you dumb, this rhymes with squat, ditch pig.
Wow.
The Trumps are trash and you're no better than them. So.
Oh my God.
Yes.
You didn't even say anything about that. You literally just called out someone who made a terrible statement. Oh, that's just.
I know, but it's it's the climate we live in right now. It's social media, unfortunately, for good and bad.
Yeah.
It really brings out the worst in human beings, I think.
I'll say this. Mr. McNasty Pants is still online trying to find a spouse.
Shut up, Mr. McNasty Pants.
Mr. McNasty Pants. Okay, so this is the final one. It says, all right, this is fair. "I'm sorry, Janice, but I can't watch you anymore. The hand motions, the scene stealing, always stealing the spotlight. I have to change the channel when you're on. I don't turn back to Fox and Friends. When is Maria Molina coming back?" So, unfortunately, I do get that. And I love Maria. Maria actually worked with us at Fox, and she went to go get her doctorate in meteorology. So she's doing some awesome work. But I get that, and I will say to people, look, that's who I am, and if you don't like it, you can change the channel.
Right.
That's fine.
No one's changing to the chair.
Plus, you get a minute 30. Come on, you've got to be animated for that. You've got to be excited.
That's right. That's right.
Why people feel like they can say that, or they have the need to say that to you? You know what? I don't know.
It would be
more courage.
It would be way more fun then to take a camera and go to their house with a bunch of people and be like, "So, you thought you were anonymous."
That's right. Mr. McNasty Pants.
So, hey, Janice, funny as ever. Great job on that, by the way. I will say this. Obviously, we adore you like all your other fans do. It was almost impossible to find mean tweets.
Oh,
I believe that.
For every one mean tweet, there was 100 people saying,
Aw.
"You're such an inspiration, and I love your smile, and you're great, and all that good stuff." So,
Yeah.
but it's always funny to just.
I love it. I mean, listen, you have to have a thick skin. They tell you that. I don't really have a thick skin, unfortunately, after all these years. But you have to kind of take it in stride that I am fortunate that for the most part, people are nice on social media.
Right. And there's always going to be the Mr. McNasty pants.
That's right. That's right.
Anyway, so great job on that. Thanks for having some fun. We're going to take our final break. You can refill your drink. When we come back, it's time to share our favorite WX resources, and more people are actually getting their names on the Weather Fools Walk of Shame. Janice, you were awesome tonight.
Thank you, Janice.
That was great.
It was awesome. You guys were great. I'm happy to come on again. And let me know when you have all the pieces in place, and I'll do the social media and we'll get it out there.
Well, so here's the scoop. So I will send you an email or something either Sunday or Monday, because we usually post the audio podcast all edited and everything. That usually is posted on Sunday.
Okay.
So that's when we'll send some stuff out. But I'll email you as well on that. And then I'll also follow up with you on shirt options and sizes and all that good stuff.
And you'll get some Freddies. Make sure I get everybody's address, and I'll send some Freddies.
Yep.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank
Janice.
you.
Awesome.
You
You got it.
Thanks so much.
You were great.
Thank
Love
you,
guys.
Janice.
We love
Bye.
you. Bye, Janice.
Bye.
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 I'll miss you too.
All of a sudden, there's a head like,
I'm giving you a hug.
it's like closer, too close, too close.
Okay. Well, let's do it again. I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
You
Great.
were great.
Thank you, Janice.
And on a Friday night where I can drink. Okay.
Okay.
True. We'll have to try that. Yes.
Okay, good. Bye, guys.
Bye, Janice.
Yep.
Another
Okay.
great one, huh?
That was
Hi.
fun.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Yep, she was fun.
Yeah.
That was
You
definitely.
guys did a great job with that too. I mean, just everybody together was just awesome. And I wasn't doing that for her. Like, oh,
Guys, I think you were the best. You were the best one.
oh no, you're the best.
No, that was fun. That was some just good, honest, good stuff. So
Mhm.
appreciate it, everybody. All right.
Phil,
So-
I think I have a microphone working now, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice.
Ooh.
Mr. Roboto is not in the house anymore.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Oh, you do that, and I'll think it's back.
Yep.
Okay, good. So, coming back, Maz, WX resources.
Yes. Who's got them?
I do.
Dina.
Tina does.
I have
And-
two.
Okay, Phil.
Anybody else?
Don't hate it.
Dina and Phil. All right.
I might. Gosh.
You can do one.
I told everybody we weren't sharing WX resources on the screen.
But you're gonna break the rule for you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Special.
Funny how that works.
Interesting.
I'll tell you what. You guys can take over booking all the guests, getting all the.
Oh wait. Hey, Brady, pass the wine baton.
I'm out. I need another one.
Oh,
WH.
look, I'm at the bottom.
Oh, Dina.
So I don't know. I'm tempted. I won't.
No, do it.
Love you.
No, do it,
Oh,
Phil.
yes, do
It's okay.
Just do it.
I won't break the rules. I told you guys no, and I won't do it either. But
You
we
know
will.
you
Phil,
want
do
to.
it.
All right, maybe I will. But Weather Fools, Brady, you got Weather Fools. So who's
Yep.
got?
I
What
have a
epi-
weather fool.
Episode 54.
Yep, episode.
I have a weather fool, but there isn't a link that I
That's
can
fine.
share.
So Tina, Brady, I have got one. Phil. All right, and we will. MJ's got a good mic, so we will go with listener questions and responses,
Oh, good. Here we go.
and I will close it up after that. So weather resources again, Dina. I've got two. Weather Fools is Dina and Brady and Phil.
Sorry, guys.
And we kill that. No, that's all right. You just
All
got
right, Kim.
so And you're always bringing them. Like if Maz like didn't bring one, I'd be like, okay, that's never happened.
It'd be an apocalypse, wouldn't it?
It would be actually. I'm thinking, what were we doing before Dina and Kim? Did we even have anything like?
We had crickets. We had crickets, man.
Hey, I come to the party prepared.
And Dina sends me her links like a day or two in advance too, so I always get.
Wow, Dina.
Yeah, she wants a raise, you know.
I know.
All right. So, and I will work on getting Freddy the Frogcaster books too for you guys.
Cool.
Oh, that's so awesome.
That's good. That was sweet of her.
Kids are probably perfect for Brady's reading level.
Yeah, I don't read many books.
He just looks at the pictures.
Gonna be honest.
Okay. All right.
Twin.
So we will share screens for Weather Fools. I might share my screen for Weather Resources too. So I think I got them pulled up. All right. MJ, you're good to go on your mic. So why don't you go ahead and count Maz in?
Oh, good. I have a purpose. I love it.
It's about time, right?
It's about time. Exactly. All right. Like I said before, being seen and not heard is probably better than for me most.
Are you
All right.
kidding me, MJ?
Ready.
That's
Come
bull crap.
on.
Set.
That is bull crap.
In 3, 2.
All right, you are listening to the Stormfront Freaks podcast. Welcome back. Time now for WX Resources. That's WX, which stands for weather, you non-meteorological people. And it's weather or WX Resources time now. So, Dina, we like to find things where you either have some new information, a new site where you can find something that's exciting to talk about, something that's weather related. What do you have for us tonight?
All right. So I just discovered this one this week. I saw it tweeted out by NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. And it's, I'll give you at least part of it. It's www.nesdis.noaa.gov. And there's a little bit more. We'll put it on the website, but it's, this is new. It's an interactive tool to view and download real-time, full resolution satellite imagery. And you pull it up and you've got an Earth, a globe, a whole globe that you could turn, go anywhere in the world and look at satellite. You can look at a geocolor map, an infrared, a vapor. And what's nice too is that when you move around the globe, it actually does have like country names on it. So when you're getting into some of these like countries that are real small that you can't remember what they are, they're right on there. And I really liked it. I've been playing with it the other day, and it's actually a really nice tool anywhere in the world, and it helps you with your geography.
Do you use that at work at all? Do you use that at work?
I have started to, because I just found it this week. In fact, I think when I was on Twitter and I saw, and I follow NOAA satellites, and they posted it, and it's brand new. And I looked, I'm like, wow, this is cool. And I'm like, oh, this would be good for WX Resource. So I haven't played with it tons because it's new, but get on there, try it out. It's beautiful. The satellite is beautiful. You can look at it all over the world.
It's very cool. I just found it because the first time I spelled NOAA, N-O-A-H, and I'm like, what the heck? Clearly, I've been out of this a while.
Yeah, it's great. Look at it. It's beautiful if you like the satellite.
Awesome. Thank you, Dina. How about Phil? What do you got?
All right, so I've actually got two to share with you guys. Both of them are pretty simple WX resources, but one is actually a tweet. A lot of you may be familiar with the fact that from a storm chasing standpoint, for the most part up until now, so we're recording right now, May 31st, 2018 has been kind of a slow storm, more of a slow tornado.
Yeah.
It hasn't been real good. So one of the one that I'm going to share with you is a tweet from Sean at SEAN, Sean _Ernst, ERNST _WX. And what he has a time lapse of the GFS model, which is one of the models. Oh, it even comes with music.
Death Ridge.
Didn't realize it had music, but it shows the GFS model of what's been going on in the Central Plains, which is pretty much nothing. And there really hasn't been anything going on as far as real severe weather, tornado kind of opportunities. There've been some great, if you follow weather Twitter, there's been some great photos of great storm structure, but just not a whole lot of tornadoes going on that are real photogenic anyway. So that again was at SEAN Sean_Ernst_WX. We'll share that tweet. The other one I have, of course, coming back to good old WX Resources, is Mike Olbinski.
Oh yeah,
Mike Olbinski.
I
he's
saw
got the
that.
best stuff.
So good.
Guest on our show. I'll tell you what, I think Mike, just because his video has been so amazing, his photos are just unbelievable. This was on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, it says Tescott, Kansas, tornado genesis time lapse from May 1st here of
Wow, that's incredible.
And it's
nuts.
titled
Wow.
the Tescott Tornado 4K/8K. But again, we'll share the link. But Mike just does, from a storm chaser standpoint, not only does he really find the storms, I think, but just the video and the photography that he can come up with.
Wow! Did you see that get recycled? Like it just got ate up by the rain, and it was wow. That's so cool.
You notice the rain shaft, and then you can kind of see it again. It follows it. So as the video goes, he follows that tornado as it kind of keeps going. He stops it. He must move his camera, his vehicle, and then starts filming the time lapse again from a different point, and then stops and follows it again.
That is beautiful.
Holy crap!
The guy does some amazing things that I just I don't know, love what the guy does. I'm very impressed with what the guy does. So
that's why we call him Mike Wazowski.
All
right, thank you, Phil. In case you missed any of that, you can check our WX resources out on stormfrontfreaks.com, episode 54, show notes, and then you'll actually know how to spell Noah, N-O-A-A, as opposed to N-O-A-A. Yeah.
You know, Maz, that's a great segue into my next segment. What
is it?
I think you're the number one weather fool for the show.
Hey,
with an H. But so Weather Fools, what is Weather Fools? It's us as the freaks are literally going out on the internet and looking for a weather fool. So someone that did something not so smart in either the news or on an online video or on Twitter, and it relates to weather. So I'm going to be completely honest. I totally forgot who is Weather Fools.
I have one.
Okay, Dina.
Way to go.
Let's do it.
I'm sharing this because this is too good to pass up. Now, everybody makes fun of people, when they're out in the rain. We know everybody gets hit by lightning when they're out there and playing golf. Look at this guy. So this was from SACBE.com, SACBEE.com. And he's out playing golf. He does. Oh, now I got a thing here. Yeah, he's out playing golf. And it doesn't matter that it's pouring rain and that most people get hit by lightning when they're on the golf course.
Exactly.
Because they're the tallest one. Look at him. He is out there. It's pouring. He doesn't even look phased that it's coming down. Like he's just going to hit these balls. He doesn't care. I'm waiting. Wow. Like I almost wanted to take this into like a Photoshop thing and add lightning.
Add lightning. Like an explosion or something. Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah, and I found that too. Like, I mean, people just don't take it seriously. They don't take it seriously unless they see or hear lightning. Even then, people they just don't take it seriously. I don't know.
You know what he's saying? He's saying, I don't think the heavy stuff's going to come down for a while.
Hey, it's not.
That was good. Who else has a weather fool?
I've got one, but do you want to go first before me, or do you want me to go now?
Yeah, sure. My weather fool is kind of lame. It's not really a link. My weather fool is more me. So the weekend I was in Florida, and they had this past weekend they had that tropical. It wasn't a tropical system; it was subtropical. Sorry. And it was supposed to be cloudy the entire time. So I went to the beach. Didn't put on any sunscreen, and I got fried. I mean, I had blisters on my back. I almost had to go in the ER. I had to miss work. I had the chills. It was horrible. So I am my own weather fool. You can kind of see. This is my.
Oh, stop showing the gun.
Oh, the peeling.
Example. It's worse on my shoulders.
Brady, stop for a second, because we could have just replayed episode whatever else that didn't we have another episode where Brady put on sunscreen on a cloud?
Oh no.
Wow.
Wasn't there an episode where he was going which way to the beach? It's over here.
It was bad. It was really bad, and I'm happy to be standing here, but it's painful now too because I'm going to work and wearing my backpack, and I just can't even put on the straps.
That
Phil,
line.
yeah, Phil, who's your weather fool?
Phil, well, Brady, this is probably, I don't know how many times you have been your own weather fool.
I know. Well, it's hard to find links on the internet sometimes.
We just got done talking about being real with our audience, and so I think that's fair enough to share with the audience that we are weather fools as well. But hey, so my weather fool I have, this was a tweet from Oklahoma Tornadoes. Now, Oklahoma Tornadoes is not the weather fool in this incident. What they shared was it was a tweet about the 1955 Blackwell F5 tornado. So Maz might have still been around at this point, but I
remember it well.
Wow.
But what I want to share with you is the artist. This was in a newspaper. This is the artist rendering of the 1955 Blackwell F5 tornado. So I'm going to quick share this with everybody so that you can see what this actually looked like, and you can tell me what you think in the left-hand picture.
Oh, jeez, oh, man.
What the hell does that look like?
Oh, come on. What were they thinking? Oh, my. They even got oh, my God. They even did the detail. Oh, yeah. Jeez.
We've shared images.
Somebody's lonely.
I have no idea what you're all talking about.
We've shared images of things in the past, whether it's a funnel cloud, whether it's a SPC warning area, whatever it might be, that obviously looks like a certain phallic image. But I'll tell you this, what caught my attention was why is someone drawing a picture of a penis in a 1955?
And it's got something
yeah,
at the bottom.
I'll tell you, it's got the pubic hair, it's got everything.
It's even got measurements on there too. Come on, man.
It does say brilliant.
Come on.
It does have measurements. I'll tell you though, if you had 150-yard.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Sizing that as well, I would imagine. Anyway, so that is my weather fool, was the artist from 1955 highlighting the Blackwell F5.
We've just gone NC-17.
Yeah.
Well, if they're listening, they didn't see it.
That's right.
Only if you're watching Raw.
Only if you're watching Raw. That's right, guys. And that pretty much does it for the Weather Fools. You can find all of these at stormfrontfreaks.com on our show 24 show notes.
Wow, 24? Oh my
God. 54.
What are you drinking, man?
Show 24. 20, you didn't let me finish. 24 plus 30.
Oh, I think between his sunburn and one drink, he's a little loopy.
He burned his brain.
He did.
That's an Ohio State grad right there.
Hey,
oh my God!
Hey,
wow. I got a B in DiffEQ, so come on now.
That's pretty good.
I gotta stand up for my alumni little brother.
Or is that a D in BiffEQ?
All right, let's jump to our silent co-host most of the segment. We're going to turn it over to MJ with our listener questions and response.
Robot.
It helps when you plug a microphone in. Works, So we have a few today. List comments. Actually, these were submitted to through the website. So please feel free to submit comments in that way as well. Frederick Ames, the from the East Central Indiana Skywalk, messaged us and said, gave you guys a little shout out today on a Facebook Live feature that was done by Reagan from Fox 5 in New York.
Okay, I'm going to stop for a second. Stop. Are you guys hearing that?
It is so trippy.
It's cool though. It's challenging. I gotta listen intently.
All right, so we forget then.
Yeah, it's you're getting some kind of echo, something. You
No, he's not.
At least it's not a robot. It
wasn't my day.
Someone's mixing the.
Hey, that was good. That was good right there.
Someone's spinning the records. All right, so we'll
fix it.
close it up. How's that sound? All right, we'll save those. MJ, we'll save them. All right, in 3, 2. All right, so I think that just about does it for this episode of Stormfront Freaks podcast. Thanks for listening and watching. Before I share the secret of our next guest, or in this case, guests, if you enjoy our show, please do us a favor. Please leave us a great review on your podcast app. If you would, just take the time as you're listening or after you listen, jump on your phone and just leave us a great review. We'd love it if you'd also let us know what you like most about it while you're doing it. That's great. And don't forget to subscribe to the show by hitting your podcast app subscribe button. It works just like a magazine or newspaper subscription. All it does is when you hit that, it assures the latest show gets delivered right to your podcast inbox and listen the moment that it gets released. So a special thanks to our guest, Janice Dean. Awesome job tonight. And our next episode, so in 2 weeks, we'll be recording on June 14th with our first, this is the first time ever on the show for 2 years, 54 episodes. We're going to have our first emergency manager ever on the show. We have Ashley Morris from Texas. She's also the co-host on the Carolina Weather Group podcast. And along with her, we're going to have meteorologist Tom Jenkins from the Oregon Department of Forestry. And so what the heck do those two have in common? They're actually going to be on to talk about VOST groups. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of VOST, VOST groups. Mm-hmm. I had found out about this a few months ago, and I just thought it was a great thing to learn more about. But what it is, it's utilizing social media during disasters to better coordinate rescues and aid when you're not there on site. So you can be off-site using social media, helping to direct other people to where people need help and everything else. If you'd like to watch the recording live at our normal time, so our co-hosts here, we've gone a couple weeks, a couple shows in a row of being a little earlier, but our normal time is 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check out our YouTube channel. All you got to do, jump on YouTube, search Stormfront Freaks.
So it's not at noon next time? Is that what you're saying?
No, I was taking a full day. I scheduled a day off on that day because it was noon.
Good for you. Keep it. I don't cut up at this point. So for MJ and Maz and Brady and Kim and Dina, I'm going to go ahead and signal the all clear, and we will catch you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys, I got to go feed my boys.
Yeah, no, I'm surprised nobody's knocking on the door.
One came down. I was like,
I'm gonna go put some aloe. I'm gonna go put some aloe on my.
Oh,
do that.
I'm ashamed.
Take an aloe bath.
Okay.
I'm blaming my ball machine earbuds for my.
50
All right, you guys have a great one.
Adios. Bye, everybody.
Come on, Kim.
Bye.
Maz is gone. See you, Brady. See you guys. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Me, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't, and I don't know how my audio worked out tonight either. I don't think it was much better. I tried not to talk when other people were, so hopefully that helped.
Yeah, I don't think it was terrible. It maybe wasn't as it's sometimes been.
Music, I couldn't figure out how to get iTunes to play louder.
Yeah,
those clips,
couple of those were quiet.
Illegal too, but oh well.
Yeah, no, it's short clips. That's fine.
Okay.
How are we going to get the editing done next time?
All right, so it's the 14th. It's Thursday. I'm leaving the next day. I
mean, depends on how.
Questions. So actually, here's a couple questions. Number one. So my goal, I'm coming up Friday.
Okay.
So my goal is to obviously stop, say hi to mom, see mom. But I figured I would either need to go back down to Opsol's, or are you getting picked up in Mora again?
I'm probably driving because I'm coming out early.
Okay.
I'll leave from Mora. You can come there if you want.
So that was what I was thinking. So I thought I'd stop and say hi to Mom on the way up, but then maybe that night, if I could take a couch or something like that at your place, and then just leave with you or whatever. And then I don't know for sure at this point, but I still think I'm coming out early with you. In which case I'd come out, but then probably leave from your place and the night at Mom's to head out the next day. But so that was the plan there. If you're okay, if